Hello everyone, welcome to this updated report on CKB Nervous Network. It was my top pick for 2022 and will remain in my ultimate top 3 for this bull market. It's truly an impressive token. What I want to say up front is that in the current context, where we've seen 60 to 80% losses on some tokens in 6 months, I firmly believe now is not the time to completely overhaul your portfolio. We must stick to our choices now. The market seems to be recovering, so we'll see how it goes. It's definitely not the time for major changes. However, on the margins, which is what I'll be doing in the coming days, as I've been doing for weeks, is to spot dips and anomalies because we indeed have tokens. As often said, they lose 50 to 80% in 6 months, but you also have both risky projects and very promising ones. We've been discussing this one since 2022, accumulated a lot in 2022 to 2023. It grew 15x in the bull market's first phase, lost nearly 80%, but I believe it'll explode in the second phase. I'm not dreaming, I've said this since 2022. It's a project that could go 100x. Now, after booming and dipping, I think it's simple. It could grow 10x to 100x, no doubt. So we know it's a new layer 0 project aiming for standardization. CKB means common knowledge base, shared knowledge, and the big news is it's now a layer 2 on Bitcoin, and just that alone is incredibly valuable. It wasn't in the roadmap, and for me, it's pure bonus. It's the first, and what's interesting is that I often talk about Stacks, which is also a major layer 2 project I love. CKB, I'd say, is perhaps even stronger in this aspect, though it's just starting. It's a blockchain with the same structure as Bitcoin. Proof of work, UTXO model, exactly like Bitcoin. So I find it coherent to have continuity between Bitcoin, which uses proof of work UTXO, and a layer 2 also using proof of work UTXO. I think it's the perfect combo. This will be incredibly valuable, which is why it's hard to predict and why I think it could go 10x to 100x, because this aspect is impossible to estimate. It could be extremely valuable, which is why Stacks could also be the key is that we're building on Bitcoin, trying to expand its functionalities so no one can predict its potential price. We've discussed this a lot. It could reach 120, 130, 150 million. It's dropped a lot recently, but there's still a 3x potential. It's worth 397 million, which is good news. There's no tokenomics issue. How high can it go? My strong conviction is that in a year, it'll explode at least 10x. That means it could reach 4 billion, which I see as the minimum. Could it go 100x to 40 billion? I'm not ruling it out. Here's my strategy. When it hits 10x, reaching 4 billion, start selling in stages. So if it hits 6, 8, 10 billion, and so on. We'll discuss this in detail in the coming weeks and months. But it can be a strategy to aim for X10 while keeping the door open if it explodes to X20, X30, or X. If it performs incredibly well, I'd let a tiny percentage ride because it's not crazy. In the very long term, it's a project I really love. Will I keep some at cycle's end? We'll see, but like Tao, it's a big long-term project that could be a future leader. What's also interesting is that often, because it emerged in the previous cycle, let's look at the charts, it simply appeared in the last cycle, and people often tell me, yeah, but some projects never reach their 88th again. Already in the first part of the bull market nearly hit an all-time high. At least it was in its peak zone, while it was barely the warm-up. Now we're really going to see things explode. It could be truly magnificent. Sometimes I'm told some projects from the last cycle won't recover. What's reassuring and shows the project's strength is the hash rate or mining difficulty, but it mainly shows miners are rushing to mine and eliminate the token. We were at 200 APH per second last year, then since February, March, boom, 200, 400, 600, and now we're between 400 and 600. So it's picking up again. We're almost at 600, as you can see. So what does this mean? Over a year, the hash rate nearly tripled. Funny thing is, the token price also roughly tripled, though it's done some amazing things if we look closer. Next, CKB is in 136th position. What I like is, like Jamie, they've emerged from obscurity. They were nowhere when we found them in the 700S or 800S ranking. Now it's touched the top 100, and I think it'll not only re-enter, but reach the top 50. If we hit big multipliers near X100, it might even go X. I'm open to that. We saw a nice surge, a dip, and now we're climbing steadily again. The token's trading volume is impressive, over 5% daily. On the weekly chart, this phase here really kicked off the surge. It took time, starting at 30, exploding here, then settling around 42. That's the zone we're in now. In my view, we've been in a bull market since early 2023, and I think, as I said about Bitcoin, even if it dips, it'll bounce back above 52 RSI. I believe we're at RSI lows and won't go lower. That's what we can say about the weekly chart, and it's just cleanly touched the 100-day moving average here, but it's mainly the RSI showing signs of a reversal. Like before, you can see signs of a reversal beginning here. Patience was key, so this is typically the time to accumulate tokens. That's exactly my thought. Accumulating tokens here, I think there's huge potential. Now, on the daily chart, which is rare, I use the RSI, and it's interesting here because it rarely drops below 30 like this. It was a strong buy signal dropping to 23. Those who bought at 0.06 cents got a great deal. And I simply think, as I mentioned recently, it's a head and shoulders pattern, though a bit uneven, but with a big upside. We see support at 8, then at 6, and again at 8 here. So we have a great pattern with an RSI rebound in a prime buying zone. Of course, we'll be cautious in the current market with upcoming fund statistics in the next few days, but starting to accumulate CKB is a smart move, I think. Strengthening CKB for those who have it is still a good idea, I think. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we see a big drop in early August, but in hindsight, we're slowly starting to recover. What's good is all the moving averages are converging perfectly, and we're finally crossing above them. We crossed above before, but there was no convergence then. Now there's convergence. It's flexible, bullish midterm in my view. Hope you enjoyed this brief analysis. If so, please like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. Ciao.
What I'm talking about, don't you? Nah? Well, you're about to. Just sing along. C to the K to the B, it's the way. C to the K to the B every day. C to the K to the B, you'll still soon. Hop on, we're going to the moon. How about now? It's CKB, baby. Sing along, come on. C to the K to the B, it's the way.